It was 2 a.m., and this call changed everything. The static crackle of the police radio usually provided the monotonous soundtrack to my graveyard shift, a low hum punctuated by routine urban incidents. My office, a cramped space filled with files and stale coffee, had been my second home for 20 years. I'd grown accustomed to the grim predictability of human folly, but the voice that cut through the silence that particular Tuesday morning wasn't a dispatcher. It was a frantic, incoherent scream, followed by a choked sob so raw it vibrated through the building. "Central, this is morgue security. He's gone! Oh God, he's just gone!" The fragmented words, laced with primal terror, made the hairs on my arms stand on end. This wasn't a report of a crime. It was the sound of someone witnessing the impossible, their reality shredding. My name is Detective Miles Corbin. For 2 decades, I'd seen humanity's worst, walked through gruesome crime scenes, and delivered news that shattered lives. I prided myself on my composure, my ability to compartmentalize horror. But nothing had prepared me for the chilling emptiness, the profound sense of wrongness that awaited me at the city morgue. This wasn't human depravity. It felt like a violation of the natural order. The call came from Sarah, a junior night attendant barely out of the academy, who was assisting the security guard, Arthur Jenkins. Arthur was a morgue fixture, a grizzled ex-Marine with a permanent scowl and a legendary reputation for being unflappable. He was the kind of man who faced down nightmares with a dry remark. If Arthur Jenkins was gone, something truly bizarre, utterly unprecedented had occurred. My mind, usually quick to assemble facts, found itself grasping at air. I arrived within minutes, my patrol car's flashing lights painting the sterile concrete walls with an eerie, pulsing glow. The air was thick with an unnatural quiet. Sarah was huddled in her patrol car, shivering violently despite the mild night. Her face ghostly white, eyes wide and unfocused. She looked like she'd seen something unspeakable. "He was just here," she stammered, pointing a trembling finger at the main entrance. "We were doing the hourly check. He went into the main viewing room, said he heard something, a faint scraping. I waited outside. A few minutes later, I called his name. Nothing. I went in. He was gone. Just gone." The room was empty. Her words tumbled out, a torrent of fear. My gut tightened. No forced entry, no broken windows, no signs of a struggle. Arthur Jenkins wasn't the type to just walk off the job, and the morgue, with its thick steel doors and limited access, was a fortress. The implications were chilling. "Did you check the cameras, Sarah?" I asked, my voice calm, trying to project an assurance I didn't feel. My hands subtly clenched. She nodded, her eyes still wide with terror. That's the worst part, Detective. The main camera in the viewing room. It recorded something that had never happened before. Something impossible." Her voice trailed off, lost in a shudder. We moved inside. The air was immediately colder, heavier, as if absorbing warmth and light. The pervasive scent of disinfectant mingled with something metallic and faintly sweet. The lingering odor of death, but this time it felt different, more potent, almost predatory. The morgue, a place of finality, felt like echoes were just beginning. The security office was small, cramped with monitors displaying various angles. Sarah's finger hovered over the playback button for the main viewing room camera, trembling. I can't watch it again," she whispered. I took a deep breath, the cold of dread seeping into my bones. "All right, Sarah, you can wait outside. I'll take it from here." I needed her out, needed to be alone with whatever horror was about to unfold. She practically bolted, her footsteps echoing unnervingly down the corridor, leaving me alone. The monitor's glow cast long, dancing shadows. I found the timestamp, minutes before her frantic call. The footage began. Arthur Jenkins, unmistakable in his heavy security uniform, entered the viewing room. It was standard, sterile white walls, fluorescent lighting, an empty stainless steel gurney. He held a flashlight, its beam cutting through the gloom, sweeping the space with practiced efficiency. His posture was rigid, alert. He clearly heard something that had broken the morgue's usual silence. He moved slowly, deliberately, his boots thudding softly towards the far corner near the cold storage units. His flashlight beam paused, focusing intently on something just out of frame. I leaned closer, straining, but saw nothing. Then Arthur stiffened, his shoulders hunched, his head tilted, listening to a sound only he perceived. His hand holding the flashlight began to tremble, betraying the first crack in his composure. A low guttural sound, barely audible through the microphone, emanated from that unseen corner. It was like wet stone grinding against bone, a sickening friction, accompanied by a faint rhythmic thump, 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 slow and deliberate, like a monstrous heartbeat, steadily growing. Arthur took a hesitant step back, his flashlight beam dancing erratically, betraying his growing panic. His breath hitched, a ragged gasp. His eyes, wide with primal terror, darted around, settling on the empty gurney. And then the impossible happened. A ripple, like heat haze, shimmered above the gurney. It wasn't a trick of light. The air around it distorted, thickened, as if reality warped. From within that distortion, a shadow coalesced. It was formless, a deeper absence of light. A void that pulsed with a thump, now louder, more resonant. It was menacing, a living patch of night, exuding a profound cold. Arthur let out a strangled cry, dropping his flashlight. It clattered, its beams spinning wildly, illuminating the horror. The shadow thing on the gurney expanded, stretching upwards with tendrils of deeper blackness that absorbed light. Arthur stumbled backward, hands instinctively up, a futile defense against an enemy that defied physical form. He tried to scream, mouth agape, but no sound came out. His eyes remained fixed on the void, his composure crumbling into raw, animalistic fear. The shadow thing lunged. It moved not with speed, but with unnatural, fluid grace. It enveloped Arthur completely. There was no struggle, no sound, no impact. One moment he was there, consumed by terror. The next, he was gone, utterly vanished, as if erased from reality. The space where he stood was simply empty. The shadow thing, having absorbed him, receded, shrinking back into the shimmering distortion. Within seconds it was gone, leaving only the empty gurney, the fallen flashlight, and the chilling silence. The rhythmic thump faded, leaving only the hum of the lights and the pounding of my heart. The camera continued to record the empty room for another minute, a silent, horrifying tableau, before Sarah's frantic entry and desperate call. I rewound the footage, fingers numb, mind reeling, watching it again and again. Each time the same impossible sequence unfolded. There was no logical explanation, no hidden door, no trickery. Arthur Jenkins had simply ceased to exist, swallowed by something that defied all laws of physics. My hands shook uncontrollably. My mind, trained to seek patterns and evidence, found only a terrifying blank, a void as profound as the one that had consumed Arthur. How do you explain a man vanishing into thin air? How do you explain a shadow that consumes, leaving no trace? This was beyond my purview. We searched the building meticulously for days. Every inch, every corner, every locker, every cold storage unit. We brought in K9 units, thermal imaging, forensic teams. Nothing. No trace of Arthur Jenkins. It was as if he had never been there. His car was still in the parking lot, his wallet in his locker. He hadn't left. He had been taken. The official report would be vague, inconclusive, filed under missing person, last seen at the city morgue. It would gather dust, but I knew the truth. I had seen it. And the image of that pulsating void, the sound of that rhythmic thump, would forever be etched into the darkest corners of my mind. A permanent scar, a constant reminder of the fragile line between the known and the utterly terrifying unknown. The morgue camera had recorded something that had never happened before, and I prayed with a fervent desperation that it would never happen again. Because somewhere out there, or perhaps in here, in the cold, silent heart of the morgue, something waited, and it was hungry. And I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to the bone, that it wouldn't be satisfied with just one. The thought of it, lurking, was a terror I would carry for the rest of my days.